Hello.
Hello.
I feel like I need to start this one with a disclaimer that my phone is on loud because I am on call for work. So if my phone starts ringing, I'm out because I have to be
She's gonna have to go.
fairly fast.
Yeah, pretty speedy out of the office.
So I feel like I need to apologise that if they hear my phone going off in the background for various other things as well.
Well, if you hear mine going off, it's not for any good reason. It's just because I can't turn it off without getting really anxious.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah, no, seriously, I can't have it on not have it on vibrate at least. Like it has to have something on it because I get really like, what have I missed?
Okay, yeah, I get that.
I have.
Yeah, I've always got mine on vibrate. I never have it on loud. Like I never have the sound on normally, but
yeah, no,
I really don't have a choice right now.
You tend to have like the odd beep go off. That's about it. Yeah, no, it's not even like anyone texts me either. So I don't know what.
It's just notifications for random apps.
Just in case they might.
Someone wants to talk to me.
Someone sent me an email. Oh wait, it's Just Eat.
Oh my god, Domino's is the worst.
Oh yeah, they are pretty bad.
Like every other day.
I think
there's a text message. Yeah.
I think I blocked them because I was like,
you need to go away.
Yeah, it's like, this is not good for me.
You're not actually helping me in any way, shape or form. Going, look, here's an offer. No, I don't want your offers.
I want a skinnier waist. But you're not helping.
It's so true though.
So, 2020 strikes again. Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, don't. I'm so sad.
I know, it's really...
I didn't even, fair play to him. Doing Black Panther while he's got that going on, while he's having surgery and chemo and stuff like that. That's hardcore.
Yeah, and he looked like peak of physical fitness in Black Panther as well. And he had that going on at the same time.
Well, you had to be.
Yeah. I don't know how you can't compartmentalize that. I'm doing this, I'm playing this amazing character, and then in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, but I might die.
At some point, I'm gonna die.
At some point, I'm gonna...
Will it happen during filming? I don't know.
Yeah, am I gonna be able to see this through?
No, he was incredible.
He was
absolutely incredible,
actor.
and those surgeries and stuff are brutal.
I did see pictures of him a couple of months ago where he looked really ill,
and
I was like, I don't like, because he hadn't said anything about having cancer or anything.
No.
And I was like, well, what's going on there? Because honestly, to me, it looked like he was anorexic or something, like he was struggling with his weight. Because if you don't know someone's ill, that's kind of what you assume, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, fair play to him not putting it in the public eye.
Yeah. I mean, it's
get
sad
it.
that he felt that he couldn't, but then at the same time, he probably didn't want to, because the amount of people that would ask him questions constantly, and it's not a nice thing to go through, but then to have to go through that in the public eye as well. It's like we were saying the other week with the Will Smith and Jada Smith thing. Like, it makes it 10 times worse when you've got all these people judging your actions and...
and I think when it comes to stuff like cancer and having that in the public eye and stuff like that, it's the pity.
Yeah.
That they don't, I wouldn't want that.
No, that's
if you're, especially if you're told like it's terminal or whatever, a lot of people at that point go, right, I'm going to try and enjoy. I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to do all the happy things I want to do and keep myself happy, etc. So if you then are in the public eye and everyone's going, oh my God, that's so sad.
You must be so afraid.
That's not going to help me, my happiness.
No. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's...
Because there was that one, Sarah Harding, isn't it, from Girls Aloud? She's come out this week as well.
Yes,
she's got breast cancer, but it's also spread.
Yeah.
So, and she said, I was reading an article about it, and the only reason that she's made it public is because someone put a thing online going, I've seen her in hospital. Going in and out of this hospital, which is known, it's a bit like our one in Cardiff, Velindre, which is the cancer hospital. Yeah. She's been seen in her local one, going in and out, and someone's been like, so just she's like, it's only a matter of time before the rumours start, so I might as well...
leave her alone, she's going through something like that. You don't need to tell people about it.
If you see a celebrity in hospital, you don't know why. It's leave it.
She could be visiting someone and now she's been outed as having cancer. That's not right. And it's just leave people alone.
It's horrible and the thing is, realistically, if you look at someone like her, in the nicest possible way. She's not been in the public eye for a while.
No.
Girls Loud ended ages ago.
Yeah, she hasn't done much.
She's not been in a soap or anything like that. So,
yeah, is there any need to really like say,
No.
oh, I've seen this person here? Like, it's not like celebrity spotting. Like, she's obviously ill.
yeah,
Do you need to bring that into the public light when she?
there
hasn't
should
done
be
that?
boundaries really
Yeah.
around certain places where people just have to leave people alone.
Yeah. Well, morally, the moral boundaries, but people don't seem to have the same morals as everybody else.
No,
do they?
absolutely
So-
not. Especially
Anyway.
if they think it's going to make them some money.
Oh yeah, yeah. Telling a story is a big motivation for people just being assholes, if you ask me.
So ridiculous.
Right, on the subject of assholes, we are
Karens.
discussing Karens this week, and
So
I want
many
to bet
Karens.
that woman that outed Sarah Harding
It's a Karen.
is a Karen.
100%.
100% a Karen, almost guaranteed. She's
Absolutely.
yeah. Because you don't just, like me and you, we'd see, if we saw a celebrity, well, I mean, especially you, because you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you, mate.
But if you saw a celebrity in a hospital, no matter if it's cancer or just, something like that, I don't think I'd go, oh, I tell you who needs to know about this. The Sun. Like,
No. Like, I'd probably tell, like, obviously, if I was in work, I wouldn't tell you.
No, obviously not.
Other points, like, if I was going to an appointment myself and I saw someone, and I'd be like, oh my God, then I'd tell you, but I'd tell you.
Yeah, you
and my
tell
friend.
me.
I wouldn't put it on my social media.
No.
I wouldn't go
like,
on that,
spotted at Valindra Hospital. Like,
Yeah.
no.
It's just ridiculous. That woman's got to be a Karen.
It's got to be a Karen. Absolutely got to be. Let me tell you my experience of Karens just from this week.
Oh, yeah.
Now, as I don't know whether I mentioned it in the first episode, but I work in retail, so in the front line of Karens, I have had a revelation this week.
Oh, God.
And it's not really a revelation. Everyone's probably going to go, yeah, we realised this a long time ago. But
Already knew that.
yeah. But I'm going to say it to you now, and you can tell me if you have had the same experience. Most Karens are people with money,
Yes.
and a lot of Karens are men.
Yeah.
It was the male version of a Karen. Is it a Ken?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sure there's like a
Is there
male
a name?
version of a Karen, which
Oh, I
is
don't
like
know.
a Ken or yeah, it's like
I just call it a man Karen.
man Karen. Yeah, man Karen works. I've had such a weird week with people this week. Like customers coming in and like I'm on the tilts, right? So I'm serving this customer. And I got this bloke who's just got this one item, it's like batteries or something. But I ask him if he wants a bag. Because you don't know what else he's going to go and buy. He might need a bag for that.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, let me describe the bloke first, actually. He's suited, he's got a nice look about him. Like, he's an older gentleman, probably about maybe 50, 55, sort of like our parents' age, that kind of
Right.
thing. So, older gentleman, probably got a little bit of money, because, you
Suited
don't
and
dress that
booted.
nicely if you've not got any money. As much as that's
Not
an
if you're just
assumption.
going into a shop.
Well, yeah, especially not if you're just going into a little local shop, which is what ours is like. I ask him if he wants this bag, and he goes, "I've got one, thank you," and then walks off. Doesn't even, acknowledge me. Just hands me the money and walks off.
Oh, charming.
Like, and then the woman that came up immediately behind him was someone I would probably describe as being on the lower pay grade. Like, she probably didn't earn a huge amount of money. She had quite a lot of kids with her. But she had a lot of shopping, so she was obviously doing her weekly kind of
Yeah. Bulk
get all
shop,
your
like.
stuff in, like getting your cleaning products and all that kind of stuff. She had all of that. And she kept apologising to me because she had all this stuff. And I was like, it's my job to
Just
scan
don't
these
worry.
items. It was taking me a while, don't get me wrong. It was like, I'd bag them, scan them, all that kind of stuff. It was taking me a little while. Some of the things weren't scanning properly, and that's the machine's fault, it's not hers. But she just kept apologising to me and was just genuinely really sorry that she'd put me through this. And I was like, mate, it's fine. I'm here to do my job. This is my job. It's absolutely fine. But she was so apologetic. So the juxtaposition between those two people immediately after each other is ridiculous.
Massively different, like.
Like, I feel like as soon as you've got a little bit of money, the entitlement that grows in people
Oh, yeah.
is just beyond. And I wanted to know if you had something similar happen in your workplace.
To an extent, yeah, absolutely. We do get certain people that come through that don't want to speak to nurses. They want to speak to a doctor.
Okay.
Now, at my unit, at the procedures we do, we consent. So we do what's called nurse consent. So I can consent my patients for the procedures, right? I'm trained to do that. I'm legally allowed to do that, etc. There is some patients that will basically turn around to me and sort of be like, no, I want to speak to a doctor first. And they will do it while looking you up and down.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And tell me, these people, what kind of... If we're going by a class basis, what kind of class would you say
they live the upper end of Cardiff.
There we go. And as someone who knows what that means, I can tell you, they got money.
Basically, exactly the same thing.
They got money.
You know, to a certain extent, there's some people that come through, they ask me a question, and I go, I don't know the answer to that. You should speak to the doctor first, because they can answer it for you. I'm happy doing that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to admit when I don't know.
Well, it's better than doing that than then getting it wrong, you know?
Exactly. But, yeah, there's definitely some people who... And I've, you know, known this the whole time I've been nursing, is they look at a nurse and they go, no, I want a doctor. And there is still a certain amount of things. So, like, you know, nurses these days they can do everything. We take bloods, we put cannulas in, pretty much everything a doctor can do, nearly. There is a nurse somewhere that can do the same. On a nurse's pay, might I add. Just getting that in there.
That's another point to just
yeah,
ram
that's
home
for
there.
another day, because I can talk about that for hours. But, you know, like I said, we take bloods, I put needles in, we do all this sort of stuff, and you still get people who turn around and you go, right, I'm going to take you through and I'm going to put a cannula in your arm so you can have your sedation. They're like, oh, you're going to do that? You're like, yes I am
capable.
Yeah, you know, and they're just like, oh, I thought the doctors did that and stuff like that, and you're just going, are we really still at that point where, you know, like, I don't feel it so much with the doctors that I work with. I don't feel that at all. When I first qualified, there was a couple of doctors I did, but they've retired now, funnily enough.
Yeah, they're probably at that age where they're just so stuck in their ways.
And they were still stuck in the ways of, no, you're a nurse.
Yeah, and then you've got your own bracket, you stick to that.
I've come across some junior doctors in my time who've tried to do that, but it's very easy to take them down a peg.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, nurse,
yeah,
can you help me? And you're like, yes, I can.
Especially if you've got all this years of experience, because you've been qualified how many years?
6 years now.
6 years. If you've got a newly qualified doctor, they've only been doing it like properly for a couple of years, really. Yeah.
Or 2 years.
Yeah. So you can kind of go, well, hang on, have you done this before? No, well, I have. So bye.
My favourite was always my old job. My old job on the ward, we didn't have doctors based there. The nurses ran that ward. And if we needed a doctor, we got a doctor. The rest of the time, we ran it.
It's more like, we chose you to come here.
Yeah.
You don't live here normally.
And you'd have like an admission by night, and you'd have a junior doctor come up, and you'd be like, right, they've done this, they've done that, so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And the doctor would be like, well, no, I'll examine them first, and then I'll decide. And I'm like, no, this is what we're doing, because this is what they've done, and this is how we treat it. And they're like, oh yeah, but I haven't seen them. I'm like, well, you can go and see them, but I'm going to get this started, because it needs to happen. And they're like, no, I'll see them first. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to document that you're delaying their treatment because you want to see them first.
Especially in the ward that you worked in before as well, because that's such it needs to happen now.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no...
When treatment needed to happen, it needed to happen.
Yeah, because there was lives literally on the line right at that point. Like, yeah.
But I came across a couple of them that would try that, and then...
The thing is, they do it once or twice, don't they?
Yeah, and then they'd learn.
Yeah.
But it was always good. The threat of going, I'm just going to document that, you're delaying things. And they'd be like, oh. And you're like, but you are.
Yeah. That's what you're doing. And I have permission from my authorities to say I can do this without your authority.
Exactly.
So...
Well, I needed their authority. I needed them to go, yes, that's correct, do it. But I didn't need to wait for them to do a hour-long assessment when I've already got the facts and gone, these are the facts, this is what needs to happen, can I do it? Most doctors would be like, yes, crack on.
Yeah.
A couple of them would be like, oh, well, can I go and do this and this and this first? No, you can't.
But if the liver's going to stop before you get a chance to do anything,
So yeah, no, we do get it in work. I can't say we get it as much just in terms of the fact that the doctors that I've worked with now are amazing. Yeah. And if a patient is sort of being a bit like, oh, doctor, a lot of them will turn around and be like, oh, Steph can answer that for you.
That's really
They
good.
can do this for you.
That's good. It's like that's kind of just like a roadblock for him then. And then you'd hope then in future, if they had to come back or whatever, they would remember that and they'd go, oh, well, actually, the nurse did that last time, so I'll just ask her.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the vast majority don't do it.
No.
I would say it's only 10% of our patients.
But that's the thing I would probably say with my customers. It's only about 10% of them are Karens or Kens.
Yeah.
And I think the ones that you remember are the Karens and Kens. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because they put you in such an awkward situation. Like I had an old bloke who was admittedly very old. Like he looked 1 foot in the grave kind of old. He didn't like the fact that I told him he had to go through another door because we have like an in and out exit.
Like everywhere does these days because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I'm sorry, mate, you're going to have to go all the way around and go back to the exit. Literally, bearing in mind it's about 15 feet. Like, it's not far. So I made him do that. And then he came all the way back around to the other side of the door, to the entrance side where I was standing, to tell me, I bet you'd make a horrible wife. I just went, that's a good job you're not marrying me, innit? And then he toddled off. Like, did it make you feel better to say that?
Yeah, it did.
Like, did
it made his day.
Feel really, really powerful to do that?
Oh my God.
And then I had another woman who came pretty much all the way out and was like nearly out the wrong way, basically.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I'm sorry, love, but you have to go all the way around. And she's like, oh, that's okay, that's fine. I'll go. Like,
yeah. The thing is, especially, going with all this COVID stuff now, right? Life has changed. Life has changed so much. And
people don't like it.
People aren't willing to allow the change. But you have to.
It's like that when we were in Yo Sushi the other day.
Oh.
Just like complete Karen. This woman sat down at Yo Sushi, right? Like Yo Sushi is someone that's implemented a lot of really good things.
It was awesome.
It was amazing for COVID because basically you order off an app. The bell brings the food to you after the chef has cooked it, and it stops in front of you, so you have time to pick it up, and then it moves on, and it's just seamless, purely seamless. And this woman just did not want to download the app. Like, she would just... Yeah.
But you didn't even have to do it through the app. You just do it online, just through a web page online. That's what I did. Yeah. I didn't have the app. I just did it through the online.
No, it was a web page, sorry. It wasn't an app. But
I think you can do it through an app as well. There's both.
But so she just didn't want to order these things. Bear in mind, this poor server is rushed off her feet. It's lunchtime. She's got a lot of people all over the place. People complaining because there's empty seats, but they're not empty seats.
Yeah,
because
there's
gaps
2 meter apart seats.
Tables. Yeah, she's got all this going on, and this woman just does not want to download this app or get this web page app or anything, and it nearly storms out. And eventually the server basically had to say, well, you can just ask me for things, it's fine. Like, you can ask me. The menu's on the website, but you can ask me, and I'll.
But they gave them paper menus. They gave them paper.
Oh, they gave them paper menus.
She gave them paper. She gave them one paper menu between the two of them.
So if there's an outbreak in that Yo Sushi,
it's that woman.
And she was there with her mother as well, wasn't she?
Who was elderly.
She was at the point where, and her mother was fine.
Yeah,
her mother was absolutely fine. Her mother was just like, it's okay.
But she made such a fuss about it.
Absolutely.
She sat. She went in. She sat down. The woman explained everything. It was when the woman was walking off, she was like, oh, no. And she stood up and it was like,
it made a big deal out of it.
It's just like...
And these are measures that are there to save your life. They're not just, we want to make your life difficult, so we're going to implement this. Like, no, these are things that will help you.
The thing that wound me up the most was as we carried on through the meal and sort of was sort of keeping an eye on them because I couldn't help but watch.
Yeah, she was only a couple of seats down from us, so we were just
She was using her phone then. Oh. She was on her fucking phone on like Facebook or something, and you're just going, you've fucking got one in front of your face, but you can't possibly use it.
I mean, it was as easy as going on the Just Eat app and getting your food off of there. It's as easy as that. You just pick things off a menu like you would on that, and they just deliver them to you. That's the only difference.
Absolutely.
And it's just the only difference between that and a takeaway app is the fact that you're not outside of a restaurant, you're inside of a restaurant. That's literally the only difference. And she's probably done that before. So why make a big fuss? Especially when there are people to ask questions to. And you can say, have I done this right? And they'll be, yeah, you've done it fine. And that's...
It was honestly just like...
It wound... Me and Steph were sat there listening to their conversation. They're just seething.
It's just like... I was like, I'm going to end up saying something in a minute.
And neither of us were particularly quiet when we were talking about it.
What the fuck?
It's like we're literally just looking at her like, are you being serious? Are you for real?
I mean, I get that people struggle with change. I really do. I don't like
especially technology-based change. I think people do have a hard line against it.
You know, I mean, we've still got patients that come through that go, no, love, I don't have a mobile phone. I'm like, what?
You do what?
I'm like, what? You know,
it's when people tell me they don't have a TV, I'm like...
Well, my granddad doesn't have Wi-Fi. He's never had Wi-Fi in his life. He doesn't have a computer, doesn't have Wi-Fi. He has got a mobile, but it's like a massive Nokia with buttons
like a brick.
That are like the size of your hand so that he can get them. Which is, I mean, it's just lush.
I mean, he is 90.
He's 93, so he's allowed.
So he's allowed. He's reached past the Karen age.
Yeah.
Because Karen age, let's be fair, Karen age is... middle age, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like 55.
40s, late 40s.
I'd 50s. Say even just early 50s.
Yeah.
Early 50s up to maybe...
I don't know, I've met a couple 60s. Of late 40s.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not a very good judge at ages, to be fair. I always judge people a lot older than they are.
Oh, I reckon she's 50. She's 35.
Oh, damn. That's a hard life she's lived.
That's so bad. I'm not too bad with age, but I think that comes from my job.
Possibly, yeah.
Because I'm constantly meeting people in age. Although we had someone in the other day who I would have put him in his early 50s easily, you know, perfectly fine, fit and well, not on any meds, all that sort of stuff. And our doctor turned around and was like, oh, you know, how old are you then? He's like, oh, I'll be 80 next year. And I'm like, what the fuck?
What?
Literally, the three of us in the room went, what?
He's found the fountain of youth.
He's just like, what is your secrets? I need them. All of them.
What is your skincare routine?
Yeah. And then he was just like, oh, I eat a lot of veg. I was like, right, I'm out. I was like, never mind.
Never mind, I don't want to do this after all. If it's a healthy lifestyle you need, nope.
I'm out.
I'm done.
That is not for me. I mean, I was really lucky. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm on call this weekend. And I got called out last night. And he called me about 10 minutes after I finished my takeaway. I was like, thank God for that.
As long as I've got my chips in, it doesn't matter.
I was being a bit dicey going, I'm going to order a takeaway. If he calls me when it's en route, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? My conclusion was I was going to ring my parents and tell them they needed to go to my house to collect my dinner.
You should reheat
and just put it in the microwave for me.
That's brilliant. So, back to Karen's.
Oh.
Yeah.
They just infuriate me.
I know.
In every way.
It makes you wonder what's happened to them in life that they feel like they need to take everything out on everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, what has happened in your life that means that you are that vindictive?
I just don't get why, if you're a certain amount of privilege, got money, blah, blah, blah. I can, to somewhat of an extent, get that you want a bit more of a lavish lifestyle, etc., right? Get that, because if I won a ton of money, I'd probably do the same.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be rude.
No.
And I think that's the difference for me.
Yeah. I think
they're rude with it, and there's just no need.
I think it's the thing that I was thinking about this in the shower the other day, which is a typical place for me to stand and think. The thing I was thinking is if you reach a certain wealth level, you should be issued with a GoPro that should be stuck on the top of your head. And then
that sounds hilarious.
Yeah. Hear me out. It gets better. Okay. the minute you are rude to a server
Is
and
that
someone watches that GoPro, you have money taken off of you.
Ooh.
You're fined a certain amount.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, you're in a restaurant, something doesn't come as fast as you want it to, and you start shouting at a server, there goes 100 quid out of your account. Like,
that would be good. Or it gives them a little electric shock. I'm up
or
for
a little
either.
electric shock, like a little electric collar, like
Yeah.
that works too.
I'm up
but
for
I feel
either.
like that's ethically quite hard to kind of justify.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
But yeah, if you just have like some kind of financial, because the reason, like, a lot of these people, like we said before, are financially quite well off.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
their money is the thing that hits them hardest. A little bit of physical pain probably won't do that much.
Yeah, that's true. They
But-
probably like it.
They're all kinky bastards underneath. But if you hit them where their bank account is,
Yeah, that's what bothers them.
that's what bothers them.
Although, if you had someone that's got a lot,
it
if
would
you
have to
take-
be done percentage.
yeah, because otherwise, if you had someone who had a lot and they said, "Oh, we're going to take 100 quid off you," they'd be like, "Here
And
you
what?
go."
Yeah, yeah.
They just
Give
hand
to
it
the
over.
poor. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, it'd have to be on like
it
a
has to be percentage.
10% of your whatever, or
Yeah, 10% of your current bank account
yeah,
gets taken out the minute you're rude to a server. Like,
yeah, because there is just no need.
there's
there's
there
no
really
need.
isn't. When someone's trying, especially when it really gets me, when a restaurant is or a shop is really busy, and you can tell that that person is really rushed off their feet and they're really
Yeah.
struggling. Their hair's coming out their bobble. You know,
You haven't seen them sit still for a second.
you
like,
haven't seen them sit still. They're wiping
Yeah.
their brow. Like, you can tell they're stressed. Why make it worse for that person?
Yeah.
Why would you sit there and go, I know what will make this person's day even worse?
Yeah,
Me. Like, yeah, it
But
will.
it's
Does
true.
it make you feel good?
I mean, when I was back on the ward, you'd get relatives coming in, and you'd see us like running around like a blue ass fly,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, "Excuse me, you haven't done this," and you're like, "I know, I'm getting round to it." You know,
Actually, I wanted to bring this up with
I'm-
you the other day because I work with a woman whose mother has just come out of hospital.
oh
Right?
god,
She was in the orthopedics ward because she fell and broke her hip
oh yeah,
in your hospital.
yeah,
And then she then got transferred somewhere else because she got an infection or something like that. So she was
Right.
hopping wards. She was in there for like 5 months.
Oh, wow.
essentially. During COVID,
oh
I'm
yeah,
going to put this in brackets now. During COVID,
yeah,
the woman,
oh god,
I do feel sorry for her because it's not good. She didn't have a bed bath the whole time she was in hospital, apparently. But this is according to a woman who is 80 something, presumably, because the woman that I work with is probably 50 something.
you know,
Yeah, it struck me. It struck me as unlikely.
not true.
Yeah, it struck me as unlikely, and this is why I was like. But then also, they basically were just like, "Oh, it was a shambles. It was a shambles." This woman that I worked with said it was a shambles.
God.
And I was like, "You do realise there's people. The wards are like half full, half staffed."
Yeah, half
Because-
capacity, like
Because there's people out on these COVID wards. They don't have time to
Yeah.
look after a woman who's relatively well.
yeah,
Like, she wasn't. I must point this out.
So-
she wasn't in the ICU. She wasn't at death's door.
Like-
she just.
if she broke her hip, right, while she was on the board, she wouldn't have been very mobile. So the only option would have been a bed bath. And there's no way that she would have gone 5 months. All right, they might have gone, we're going to do it every other day.
Yeah.
All right, you know, they might have cut it down or whatever. But you wouldn't go like 2 or 3 days. However, I mean, when I've been on the wards in the past, I have had patients that refuse it. And that's the other thing. And that used to be a big argument with families because I can't force it. That's abuse.
No, exactly. You can't just pick someone up and wash it.
Yeah,
like,
I
that's
can't
not-
I can't force them to do it. That is abuse. The only time you get around that is when you get into capacity territory and things like that.
Yeah.
But she, you know, if the only reason she's in is because she broke her hip or whatever, she's obviously got capacity, you know. So if your nurses go up to her and go, right, should we have a bed bath? And she goes, no, I don't want one. Okay.
Yeah.
I will go back and forth several times in the day and go, do you want a bath now? You want one now? You want one now? If each time she says no, then she says no.
Yeah.
So potentially she could go 5 months without one.
Yeah, and I
if
don't
she
know.
does not let them near her.
Yeah, and I don't know how good this woman's mental capacity is. I have no idea, because I've only been working with this woman. And bearing in mind, I'm sat here going, because the way that she puts it, she's like, I've got no trust with X hospital. And I was like, because I literally immediately went, oh shit, that's where Steph works. And then I was waiting for her to say that she was on your department. I was like, but then she didn't, thankfully, so I was alright. Because I was literally about like, what are you saying about my girl? like, do not say shit about my girl.
Yeah. Like, where exactly are you talking about? And then
because she's in a different one, I was like, it's okay, I can back off. So I don't have to say nothing.
I go laugh if anyone ever comes in to speak to you, goes, oh my god, that place is horrible. You'd be like, I'm so what?
You say what?
No. That is not how it would go, and I know that.
I will speak to the woman that works there that I know, and I can almost guarantee she will give me a different story to what you just told me.
But, stuff like that happens so often. You get relatives ringing up on the wards.
This is what she was saying as well. Yeah. When you said about ringing up, she said we were ringing them every day, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, really? During COVID, you are ringing them every day?
And
really?
They're going, hi, yeah, she's fine, bye. And they're like, that's not enough information. It's like, that's all the time I've got for you, mate.
Yeah. And she was saying about apparently the records hadn't been passed down, so they didn't
actually... This gets on my wick every single day of my working life. So when a patient comes into hospital, you do not get given all of their past medical history notes. Yeah. They are kept locked away unless they are needed, right?
Well, this is what she was saying, because she went on there in the orthopaedics straight away because of her hip.
Yeah.
So, and then when she left, they had no idea why she'd been in hospital the first time. I was like, well, that's probably because they're not treating her for anything that happened during the break.
No, exactly. When she's gone to the other ward, she's gone to the other ward for the infection, and that's what they're treating her for. It's not a case of then they're going, why did she come to hospital in the first place? It's going, what is she here for, and what are we dealing with? This is what we're dealing with.
They need to know what's wrong with her now. Yeah. They don't care about what happened to her before, and that's exactly what I was in my head. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I can't say that.
And the thing is, they would have known. But it would have been in her notes. And if I'm in the middle of my day, I've got 8, 9, 10 patients to look after that are fairly unwell. Things like that. If I get a phone call from a relative and they go, do you even know why they were in the first place? I'd be like,
not right now.
No, I don't, because I've got 10 other patients to deal with. All I know is they've got this infection and I'm treating it.
Yeah. And this is the thing I was like gritting my teeth about, because I was like, I don't know personally how these things work because I don't work in a hospital myself, but I know from you roughly how things go. And I was like, there's got to be a reason for that. They can't just be like no one knows because nobody knows.
Yeah, it's not. Oh, I don't know because I don't care.
Yeah,
and I think that is quite often how it's taken by relatives.
Yeah,
if you answer the phone, you speak to them and you go, "Oh, I'm not sure about this. I don't know about that." They're like, "Well, you're looking after my mother." Yeah, or you're looking after someone. But I get that.
They don't take into account that you're also looking to 50 other people's mothers.
Exactly. But, I get it. When my granddad was recently in hospital and we were trying to speak to the nurses, right, we'd ring them up and we'd be like, do you even know about this? And they're like, no. And you're like, okay, well, this is going on, so can you do this? And things like that. And fair play, most of the time, the nurses we spoke to when he was in were fab. There was one where we had a bit to do with. The weird thing was, we spoke to her the following day, she was totally different. So she'd obviously had a bad shift. But the lucky thing for me is, with my parents having me, they get that happens.
Yeah.
So when she was really rude to my mum was annoyed about it. But I just turned around to her and I said, look, she might just be having a bad shift. Like, I'm annoyed at how she spoke to you. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But try again tomorrow. See if it's the same person. If she's the same, we'll take it further. If she's not, then it's different.
It takes a certain amount of either empathy or insider knowledge to know what people are going through. Like, I've worked in retail for a couple of years, so I would never be rude to a server.
No, because you get it.
Because I get it. I know what they're going through. Like, maybe not exactly know what they're going through. Unless there is a really specific reason as to why they've been particularly bad to me, I would not
Yeah.
be rude to them. I just wouldn't. And the same way, with a nurse, that they are going through shit that day. They don't need you on their back. That's insider knowledge, and it's empathy.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people lack empathy.
Absolutely.
And a lot of Karens lack a huge amount of empathy. Because some people have got it, but they'll have it to an extent, and then you push them and they go too far.
And I think it depends how that Karen became a Karen. Whether they've grown up a Karen, so they've never had to deal with working in retail or whatever, or whether they've happened to become a Karen later in life and things like that. I think that makes a difference. That definitely makes a difference because, going back to, I think when we mentioned this in the first episode and stuff, in terms of the fact of what we learn is from our parents or our surroundings and things like that. So if your mother or father is a Karen,
the likelihood is you're gonna not learn respect from them.
No, you're gonna have a certain amount of Karenisms. You might be a Karen yourself, or you might just have certain Karenisms.
Certain traits. Maybe it's like a watered down Karen.
Yeah.
Like a watered down squash.
Like I'm alright most of the time, but if you do this, then it's really gonna get my wick, and then I'll be a Karen.
To a certain extent,
everyone can be.
I do kind of understand because there are things that push you over a level where you go, well, that's actually just really bad service.
Yeah.
And as someone who has, like, I got a little bit Karen-y the other day, and that's not to say that I had to go at anyone, but I could feel where they were coming from in that sense, because we went to a coffee shop in Birmingham on Friday, and we went in, just sat down, went and ordered our stuff. Lloyd ordered our food and our drink. They forgot the food that I'd ordered for a start. Which, if you mess with my food,
that's not good. Don't mess with me when you're hungry.
And I was really hungry as well.
Oh, God.
So I was like, "What are you playing at?" So they forgot my food. So then she had to go back and do that. When it did come, it was half cooked.
Oh.
It was a cheese and ham panini, cheese and ham toasty. It doesn't take that much brain power to do that.
No.
You just put bread, cheese, ham, slam it together. Put it in a press. And the cheese wasn't melted.
So it's literally been on there for like 10 seconds.
10 seconds. It was warm at best. And I was just like, okay, it's fine. The coffee that I'd ordered, no sugar provided. Didn't tell us where there was sugar. And I was just like, in the end, I had to find my own sugar because there was a to-go desk where they had like the sugars and stuff like that. So I just went and got the sugar from there because I couldn't find anyone to ask sugar. Where the sugar was. And I didn't say anything to anyone. Wasn't rude to the server. I didn't
kick off
or anything like that. But me and Lloyd together were like, what the hell?
Yeah, what is this?
What is this place? But I understand that me kicking off is going to get me nowhere. Like, the woman looked stressed out of her mind. She was obviously, they must not have opened that long ago since COVID. Like, that's the only thing I can understand, that I can
Everyone's
assume.
Getting used to the changes.
Yeah, they're getting used to it.
Servers, customers, etc.
Yeah, I'm not going to kick off and make someone's day terrible because they're having, an off day. I'm not going to do it. But
however,
that did tick me off.
Yeah. And rightly so, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's just bad service. And it's like, I am someone who values customer service quite highly, having worked in customer service for years.
Yeah.
I just think there's no need. You should be able to adapt quicker as a server. I do think as someone who's in customer service, you have to adapt.
Yeah, because it's constantly changing.
But if every customer you have has to have a different version of you.
Yeah.
Because they're not always going to reply in the same way.
No.
They're not going to like someone who's coming in with a big old mardy face. They're not going to appreciate me going, "Oh, hi, how are you? Like, are you having a good day?" Like, they're not going to appreciate that because obviously they're not having a good day.
They're not going to appreciate happy Hannah.
No. So you just do the basic, "Hi, how are you?"
Yeah.
Or,
keep it short and sweet.
Yeah,
Or, you've got to be, in those kinds of jobs, same as nursing, I suppose, in a way, you've got to be a good judge of character.
Yeah.
You've got to be a good judge of how are we going to handle this one and things like that. Whereas, as you say, in that scenario, if you had been a Karen, oh my God.
Yeah.
It'd have been like, "Excuse me,
can I speak to the manager?" Like, no, you can't speak to the manager. They're busy. And it's like, I know I had a little conversation with my assistant manager yesterday, and I think this is also another thing, is Karens in the workplace.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's Karens that you speak to that, you know, as customers or as a client or whatever. But then there's Karens that you work with, which are much harder to deal with, I think.
Yeah.
Because you can't say to a colleague, you can't just end a conversation with a colleague. With a customer, you can just walk away.
Yeah, and that's done. Bye-bye.
And luckily, I work somewhere where they do back you up quite well with that. If someone's being abusive or is being aggressive towards you, they just say, walk away, get your manager, they will come and deal with it.
Yeah.
It's very good.
That's what they get paid to do.
That is what they get paid for, and my manager doesn't mind doing that. She's great. She's an amazing Greek woman, right? And she's just got the best Greek accent. It's the most typical. I won't even try and do it because it's like proper stereotypical Greek accent.
Yeah, we're not good with accents.
Not good with accents, so I'm not going to try. But if she comes at you, it's like being
run away
by, I don't know, like just this pure Greek goddess. Like, she's just coming at you with fury.
Oh my God.
She's incredible. I absolutely love her. But anyway, I was talking with my assistant manager yesterday, and he is stressed out of his mind because he doesn't have enough people for... They put out a job ad, right? The job ad that I replied to and that I got. They had 1,500 applicants to 10 positions.
Oh, God.
They managed to whittle that down to 50. They had 12 of that 50 come in for interviews because they were actually viable candidates. 8 of those people got employed.
Yeah. 6
of them are now working for us.
Oh, dang.
2 of them just left on the induction day.
Yeah.
Weren't interested.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind I work in a shop, they didn't want to work on Saturdays and Sundays.
Well, why the fuck are you going for that job then?
This is it. They got told what hours they'd have to work, and they just went, no, I don't want to do that. And left. God.
See, but this is what annoys me about humans. People will not work and stuff like that because I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
stressful.
that. And then they're like, oh my God, I can't find a job anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking modify your life.
This is what my assistant manager was saying. He was like,
absolutely.
If you want a job and you want money,
you will modify your life around it.
You have to do what you have to do. At the end of the day, that's as simple as that. But then you get the Karens that just don't want to.
Yeah.
They just don't want to do it. They don't want to put that effort in.
Yeah.
And they don't like it when things don't go their way.
I mean, I love my job. But if I could do it without the on-call, I'd fucking love it more. I really would.
We've all got things in our job.
It's probably the only part of my job I don't really like. But I do it because I love my job.
And this is the thing. We've all got things in our jobs that we just want to get rid of. But you know what doesn't make it better? Whinging about it constantly and complaining about it and trying to kick off with people that can't do anything about it.
Exactly.
It's just pointless.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people that I used to work with another Karen when I was in my first job. We got our hours cut because, it was just a number of things. They were just cutting back on the storefront business. And I got offered the higher hour. I got offered 30 hours.
Yeah.
And she got offered 17 or something like that. At that point, we were both working full time.
Yeah. So it's quite a big cut.
So it is a massive cut. And it was not a nice situation. My manager was cut up about having to do it. She wasn't happy about having to do it at all. But she's got no choice. It's been coming from head office, and they do what they want to do. You know, they're going to do what is best for the business, and that makes sense. You know, it's not nice, but it makes sense.
No.
So she then was really stroppy with me for weeks because I got this position, and I was like, well, first of all, my manager made this decision, not me. And second of all, there's nothing she can do about it either.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Stop complaining about it. Get on with your life and find something else if you're not happy.
Why do you think being an asshole to me is going to change anything?
It's not going to change anything.
In fact, it's going to make it worse for you.
Yeah.
Because if they ever decided, actually, we've got more hours now, who should we give it to? If you're going to be an asshole in your job, you're not going to get the more hours.
And bearing in mind as well that manager did this based on performance levels. So we had at that point targets, and I was higher than this woman in targets. That's why I got chosen.
Exactly.
It wasn't a personal choice from a manager. She didn't say, "Oh, I like her more, so I'm going to get that." That's not what happened.
Exactly.
So why are you kicking off about it to anyone, let alone me, who has least amount of control over what happened? And that's
just bitterness, isn't it?
Pure bitterness. And I think that's the thing with Karens, is they're bitter about something.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
And it's probably different for each of them, but they're bitter.
Yeah.
They're just bitter.
Yeah.
They lack empathy. They've got no heart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like those people outside in America that had the guns that they pointed at the protesters for Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. Oh, God.
That's like peak Karen. And it just infuriates me, because even if your garden did get a bit trounced on, or, you know, got a bit of graffiti on some of the walls on your house, like, it's not someone's life.
No. I think it's different if you start breaking into my house, that's different.
Yeah, you have a right to protect yourself.
You start smashing my windows, or you come through my door and you're in my property, that's different, yeah.
If they'd sat in their living room with those guns and just had them on their lap and was like...
Or next to you, like, it's there in case they come in.
Yeah, I'm not going to... I'm not gonna use it unless I have to.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there, and that's why you have guns in America. At the end of the day, is to protect yourself. Supposedly. But the fact that they stood there on their front garden and aimed those guns at people,
it's terrifying.
And to be those people that are just there protesting and just trying to get their point across in a country that doesn't want to listen to them.
Yeah.
And they've got these people aiming guns at them when they've done nothing wrong.
Exactly. Well, that's where it all comes down to, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's it. It comes straight back to that.
It comes straight back to why it all started in the first place.
Yeah. So it's like a big old nasty, horrible, vicious circle.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's not going to be an end to it until you get through to these people's heads that they don't have.
And I don't think you ever will.
No, but they don't, like, the fact that they can't see that they don't have a privilege that everybody else has. Yeah. They don't have it. No one has that privilege. No one has any right to treat anybody.
Or take away someone's life.
Or take away anyone's life is the peak thing that they can't do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in the very least, just be nice to people. Like, the very, very least.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's the bottom of the rules you get told when you're a kid by your mum. Yeah. Be nice to people.
In the last couple of years, I always remember my parents saying this to me when I was younger, and like drilled it into your head, and I'm sure your mother said the same thing. If you've got nothing nice to say nothing at all. Yeah. Right? And for years, I was like, bah, 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 bah. And literally in the last couple of years, I have actually put that in my head. And when I'm getting annoyed, I'm just going, if you've got nothing nice to say, you say nothing. And I say it to myself and stop myself from saying something. Yeah. Because it's just like, it's just easier.
It does make your life so much easier. But I think there is nothing more, just someone who is a sarcastic bastard, there's nothing more joyful than saying something sarcastic back at someone.
Absolutely.
And getting the face. And you know what face I mean.
Said what?
Like, because they can't say nothing to you because you've not technically said anything wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have been sarcastic. And they know what you mean. I know what I mean. And what are you going to do about it?
Favourite one. Have a nice day.
Oh, I love. That's the thing that my mum taught me is come back at anger and with niceness. With
Absolutely.
And that's something I try to take with me.
Yeah.
I don't think she meant it in a sarcastic way, but that's
it's easier to do it in a sarcastic way, isn't it? Because you don't want to mean it.
I don't want to be nice to you, so I'm going to be fake nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Gritted teeth nice.
Yeah, she probably didn't mean to teach you that, but she has taught you that.
Well, actually, no, probably knowing my mum, she did mean to teach me that, because I know what she's like.
She does the same thing.
She probably does. Whether she knows that's what she's doing, I don't know, but... I think that's the only way you can react to a Karen in any...
I think it's the best way to.
Yeah.
Because you can't fight Karens with their own attitude.
No. You just
end up in a shouting
match. Yeah, and I have sat in on arguments, like when I've been working previously. I've never had a full-on argument with a Karen, because like I said, what I do is the fake nice.
Yeah.
The, icy niceness. But I have sat in on conversations with people who are struggling against a Karen who have just got irate.
Yeah.
And it just escalates so quickly.
Yeah.
And then the problem is, then you're justifying their ire.
Yeah.
The fact that they're annoyed, they now have a reason to be annoyed. They didn't before, but now now they do.
And the problem is, especially in our jobs, the customer or patient, etc., is always right. Therefore, if you start arguing with them,
they suddenly become...
Eventually, actually, the only person that's going to lose is you.
Yeah.
Because while you fight them with their own power, you're then going, well, actually, you got irate, you started shouting, you can't do that.
You've got to be the bigger man.
So therefore, the only person that actually ends up in trouble is you.
Yeah.
The Karen's got exactly what they wanted, and therefore will continue to be a Karen.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to get stuff out of it.
It's justified. It's the, can I speak to the manager thing?
Yeah.
To me, I would never fight that. I'd literally be like, yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, I'll go get them for you now. Bye-bye.
Because if you've got a good manager,
yeah,
that manager will come into that conversation. You will tell them what's happened.
Yeah.
They will tell them what's happened, and the manager will go, well, I don't see what the problem is here.
Yeah.
Until you get to the point where you're arguing back with the Karen. In which case they will go, well, now you've crossed a line now.
Yeah. Now you've started shouting, we have an issue.
We have an issue now. Yeah.
Now you've been rude, we have an issue. Yeah.
Because that manager will always look at the customer and go, well, yeah, you actually have got a point now.
Yeah. All right, you might have started it, but my staff continued it.
Yeah, and they should have just shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is I think a lot of people give in to their own anger when they come against a Karen, and it does make it harder for people to stop the viciousness and the nastiness.
Yeah.
And like you said, if they're getting what they want from arguing with people,
they'll just continue.
It will continue, yeah.
Yeah, you know, if especially if in certain situations, like, you know, say a restaurant and things like that, if you fight back with them, all that's going to end up happening is your manager's going to go, your meal's on the house, or this is on the house, bye-bye.
And they get what they want.
Exactly. So if they're going to get a meal for free by doing that, why would you not do it in the next restaurant you go to?
It's Pavlov.
Yeah.
It's Pavlov. You give someone
learned behavior.
Reward. It's a learned behavior. Yeah. If you give someone a reward by giving them a free meal or something like that because they've been nasty, as much as that isn't the true event, that is how they're going to view it. It's I've been nasty and I've got a reward. Yeah, it's Pavlov.
And how many do that a couple of times and then go, we can do this everywhere.
Yeah.
And then that's what they do.
But it's like people, it's just slightly funnier. I do quite enjoy this. Like when people get fake engaged in restaurants and they get free food from it. Like,
part of me thinks, fair play.
To have the
well
balls,
played. Well played.
To have the balls to do that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have bollocks to do that.
I would not. But you're going to try it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, if you've done it once and it works, you're going to go, well, we've got the ring now.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Let's just try it again.
Yeah, I mean, you'd try that if you went somewhere like really posh.
Yeah. You're just like, we can't actually afford to eat here, but we're going to try.
So I'll give it a go and we'll see what happens. Even if we get the mains for free.
Yeah, get a couple of drinks for free. I mean, just make me laugh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so it is a Pavlovian response.
Absolutely.
You know, that's why you should have a good manager.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are unlucky and they don't have someone that will back them up.
Supportive. That's
or
the big
even
thing,
a good company that has like a good
zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance rules that are just like if you do like, which seems to be at the place that I work now. They seem to be pretty good at backing you up. It just winds me up.
The problem is they're not going to go away.
No, they're not.
They're not going to go away. This is something that will bug us forever
until we are Karens ourselves.
Yeah, no, I can't see that in my future, I gotta be honest.
But maybe that's why they're so bitter. It's because they had to deal with so many Karens themselves when they were in this position.
I mean, maybe.
They now feel like, well, I'm going to be one too.
Fuck it, I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think that's what it is. I think they're just entitled people who just
think they can
get
do
their own way. They've had things their own way their whole life.
Yeah. And if you don't know any different, then...
Yeah, that's
do you know
what
what I
mean?
Be. If it's learned, like I say, the ones that have grown up with it, their parents have done it, etc. If that's literally what you've learned,
yeah, because
do you know what I mean? Like, that's very difficult to unlearn.
Yeah, it is. But you would have thought that somewhere in their brain they must realise I'm making this person's life miserable by doing this.
I don't know.
But
it depends what they surround themselves with. And if all their friends are the same, if all the people around their lives are the same.
And like I said before, like if they don't have that empathy, they're not going to do it. They're not going to realise. And I can only speak as someone who has got a certain amount of empathy.
Yeah. And I think from our point of view, it's also easier because we speak about it because we've experienced it. Whereas if I was on their side and I hadn't experienced it myself and I was doing it,
would you be able to recognise it?
Would you be aware of it?
Yeah.
How, like I said, if you've grown up with that, if you're surrounded by that, your friends, your family, etc., if everyone does the same thing, why would you think any different?
Yeah.
We're only saying we think differently, but we've experienced this side of it.
Yeah.
If I've never experienced this side of it, and all I've grown up with is having that, would I know any different? Probably not.
No, perhaps not.
Because unless someone turned around to me and went, do you realise you're being a dickhead? How do you know?
This is why everyone should go to counselling.
Or everyone in school should be taught, this is what a dickhead is. This
Basic
isn't.
manners. That's something you should be taught in school. Basic manners.
You know, again though, does that come with school?
Yeah.
What schools they went to, what morals they're taught there, what morals they're taught at home. It all comes from like...
I think people are Karens for very different reasons sometimes.
Absolutely.
There are the people who have had privilege for their whole lives, and they just don't know any other way of being, like you said. I think there are people who have had some hardships in their lives, and now they're like, well, now I'm going to take it out on everybody else.
Yeah, I've had it, so I'm going to give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Fucking
I think
no.
there are people who as well who have had those hardships in life, and it's not so much I'm going to take it out on everybody else. It's more of a, well, I've got through him. I've been through worse than you, so why shouldn't I have what I want?
Yeah, exactly.
Why shouldn't
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, even though you might be ruining that person's day.
Yeah. The thing is, it's one of those things, and you know, you don't know what another person is going through in their personal life. When you meet them in your day-to-day, in the shop, in a hospital, whatever, you're meeting them in their work life. You don't know what's going on at home.
Is very different from me at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm two very different people.
Yeah.
And I think as well, you do have, especially with people that work in service-based things, you have an assumption as to why that person's there. You think, like, and I can say this because I work in retail, but you do kind of assume that they're of lower intelligence, you know, that they can't, never mind the fact that I'm doing the uni degree alongside this job. It's I'm not here because this is the only job I can get. I'm here because I'm doing a uni course and it's the best one time-wise for me.
Yeah.
But you make assumptions like that people are, you know, less intelligent or, you know, just lazy sometimes as well.
I think going with that, with this whole retail thing, I think it also goes by age in terms of the fact that, like, if a Karen saw like a 20-year-old doing your job, they might think, oh, they're working while at uni.
Yeah.
But because you're older, they go, oh, poor love.
Yeah. She must not be very bright.
Yeah. Whereas someone younger, they might go, oh, they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's in a city.
I do think some people, when they see people my age, though, they do assume it's because I've got a kid.
Yes.
That's
100%.
a lot of the time is, well, she must be working part-time because she's got
children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Because a lot of people that I work with also massively, as soon as I started working there, they're like, do you have any kids? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. I was like, yeah, I'm going to uni.
I had a woman the other day. She's like, oh, so you married then? I was like, no. She's like, got a boyfriend? I was like, no. She's like, have you got any kids? I was like, no. She's like, oh. And she literally looked at me and went, oh. I was like, thanks.
Like you've not achieved
thanks,
something.
Mate. Thanks.
Yeah, like you were underachieving at something.
Like,
yeah.
All right, don't mind me. But
just doing my job.
because she's in like her mid-80s, I'll let her off because that generation that's just what they do.
That's it.
But it's still like, all right. Like, I'm already very aware that I'm single. I don't need some old person reminding me,
judging me.
Oh, you poor thing. Like, what?
Judging me on it, yeah.
Just like, here's some pity for you. Like, fuck off.
When you're sat there going, I don't actually want any kids right now anyways.
It's just like, oh my God. You know, I mean, I know one of the girls I work with, oh my God, she had the most horrific thing. And I think this is another topic for another day, but obviously I'm going to sort of gist on it now. She had a nurse elsewhere that she was working with on a weekend or something. And she turned around to her and she's like, oh, so, are you married? She's like, no. You got a boyfriend? No. Oh, so you're single? Yes. Do you have any kids? No. Oh, why? Do you not want any?
Don't ask that question.
Who does that?
No.
Like, is that a Karen? I feel like that's a bit of a Karen.
That's a Karen thing. I'm sorry, it is.
Like,
yeah.
You don't ask someone that.
It's
just like, makes you like want to crawl up into a ball.
Just never. Here's a tip for anyone listening.
Never
ask anyone why they haven't got kids.
Like,
absolutely never do it. Don't even ask blokes why they haven't got kids.
Well, no, exactly.
Don't do it. It's just not on.
No.
It's really not. It makes me quite angry.
She just turned around at the time and just went, no, it just hasn't happened for me, and walked off.
But that's the thing.
Like, she handled that amazingly. Yeah. I would have gone, fuck off.
I think that's most people's immediate, especially if they want to calm down a situation.
And just diffuse and get out.
I don't actually want any right now. And then carry on.
Yeah.
But I have been asked that in the past. I have been asked, not so much, why don't you have kids? More of a, will you have kids or do you want kids? Which is a slightly softer version of the same thing. And I literally just turned around and said, no, I don't really want them. I do want them, but I'm not going to tell them that.
Yeah, they don't. You don't need to have that conversation. And that's what I mean. Like, I suppose us having that conversation might be a bit different.
Yeah, if you know someone, if you are friends with someone and they are saying to you, out of curiosity, do you think you'd like to have kids?
Yeah,
that's a different conversation.
This woman, she'd met, like, it was the second time she'd ever met.
No, that's not on.
What the fuck?
Absolutely not on.
Like, all right, fair play, turning around to someone and going, oh, so do you have any kids? Normal question to ask. Kind of get that. But if they turn around and go, no, then that's when it ends.
Yeah, that's the end of that conversation.
That's the end of that conversation.
Yeah,
like
I've been asked it in work before now, like, do you have any kids? And when I say no, and bearing in mind that I'm only 28, like, I'm not...
We're not over the hill.
Hopefully I don't look any older than that, but,
Oh, you look like you're in your 40s.
Like, oh, for fuck's sake. So bearing in mind I've been asked that myself, everybody that I've ever spoken to has shut down that conversation as soon as they say no.
Yeah.
As soon as I say no, I don't have any kids, they go, oh, okay. There is a sense of, there's a shame.
Yeah. Like, it's the, Yeah. And you're like, what do you mean, oh?
But... that I can ignore.
Yeah.
Like, you can ignore a little noise that someone makes when they ask that question. Like,
don't need pity. Fuck off.
I'm actually okay with it, but okay.
Just like,
it's frustrating, isn't it? There's so many different aspects of Karenism as well. I think there's just not just the angry at service side of things. It's like the
I want to know more than I need to know.
Yeah, the nosiness.
Like.
And
I'm allowed to ask this question. No, you're not.
No, and that's it. Allowed. That's entitlement, isn't it? It's like feeling entitled to know everything about what's going on in someone else's life. No, I have a right to say to you, no, fuck off. I don't want to tell you that.
Like, in our jobs, for example, if people start asking you about your personal life, I don't need to talk to you about it.
No.
Like, I don't need to have this conversation with you.
I had one that made me laugh the other day, actually. She started asking me about my uni course because I said to her, her daughter was buying.
I was going to say, is this a customer or?
Yeah, customer.
Okay.
So her daughter was buying some stuff for her uni course, and I asked her just like a friendly inquiry. Oh, are you going to uni this year? She said, oh yeah, and then we started talking, and asked her where she was going. There wasn't anyone in the queue, so we were just chatting, and then her mother said to me, because I mentioned that I was going to uni as well in October, and she said, oh, what are you doing? Blah, 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 asking me questions, and I was answering her. And then she ended the conversation so abruptly because she obviously wanted to get on somewhere else.
She's like, okay, bye.
And I was like, so you didn't actually care?
No.
You were just
being polite.
Talk. Well, no, it's not even being polite. It's just being nosy. Like, she was just like, oh, where are you going? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as I answered the questions, I was willing to continue the conversation. They just went. Like, she's like, bye.
Okay,
like, because me and her daughter were having quite a nice conversation. Yeah. And she just walked off.
She obviously wanted to move on, but without turning around and going, oh, okay, that's very nice, but we need to go.
Yeah, which is what I would have accepted.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if she'd have gone, oh, that's nice, I need to go now. Like, that's fine. Like, but the fact that she just went, bye.
Turn around to her daughter and going, look, love, we've got to go elsewhere.
Go catch a train or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's ways of going around things, isn't
It's
there?
just being honest. That's all. I mean, that's harmless.
Yeah,
That just made me laugh.
Yeah,
I was just
like,
like,
oh, all right,
okay, you got what you wanted. Bye now.
I love that. When people start walking away from me, though, I just go, oh, bye then.
See you later.
Yeah, I can't help it. Like, if I'm mid-talking to someone, and like, oh, okay, fine, and they start walking away, I'm like, okay, bye then. I can't help it.
Yeah, but you aren't as subtle as a brick, so...
I'm not planning on being subtle, mate. It's not the plan.
That's the thing. I think subtleness goes out the window when you're faced with a certain amount of either rudeness or just... not even rudeness sometimes, just a little bit of obtuseness.
Yeah. Like, all right, then.
Like, oh, okay, bye.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Exactly.
Just waving at them as they walk away, and they look back at you like, what the fuck is she doing? Bye then.
It's a little sarcastic wave.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. I'm really cheerful. You can leave.
Anyway, I think we're done now.
Fab.
So we are Honesty Box again. I love that we do this at the end, like introduce who we are, even though you've been listening for an hour.
Yeah. By the way,
we are Honesty Box. We release podcasts every 2 weeks on a Friday. This one will be going out September
11th.
Yeah, September the 11th. So, what else? Oh, follow us on Instagram. What are we?
I don't know. Don't know why you're asking me. This isn't my Honest Pod, isn't it?
Yeah, at the Honest Pod.
Yes.
So that's us at the Honest Pod. We also have a Facebook page, but we don't really use that quite so much. It's mainly just reblogs from Instagram. Also, if you are listening on iTunes, please rate us 5 stars and leave us a review. So we can. It just helps us reach more people if you do that. So if you are listening there, please take time to do that. That'd be really appreciated. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Next week, do we know what we want to do next week?
Should we talk about boomerangs?
Boomerangs? Yes, we should.
Talk about boomerangs.
Not as in the Australian outback throwing tool. Not that.
Throwing tool?
I don't know what you'd call it. Is it a weapon?
I don't think it's a weapon.
I think it's a weapon. I think the Aborigines used it as a weapon.
Oh, yeah, I suppose actually, yeah.
Because you throw it.
I don't think they'd class it as that these days, though.
Probably not, no.
Otherwise, people wouldn't be allowed to have them.
Yeah, have this sharp, pointy stick. Throw it. Yeah, we're going to talk about
the human boomerang.
Do you want to describe a boomerang?
Boomerang. Human boomerang. So people that have been in your life for whatever reason, friends, relationships, etc., who disappear because you move on with your life, and then they come back,
and then
they go away, then they come back, then they go away, they come back, all the fucking time.
And there's usually a pattern as to why, but we will discuss that next week. I hope everyone has a good
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and we'll see you soon. Bye.